Koja trava. Vidiš da si tu je pogled. Tu idemo na pogled. Tu se bi morali svi
E, ja ovom drona tu malo pustio.
ali trava ide tvora. A to?
Ili da se idemo prijaviti?
A da, stignemo još. A i tu su štinke. A gle, neće je tu. Wow. Baš je čoveče to. Nečija čižma.
Ja, man.
Čižme. Kako je lepo. Ne mislim da je tu gore bazen jer piše na ulici. To je neki kraj.
Hello.
First and foremost, I give you a history of this house, and then I talk to you about the moment of coffee, a couple of things from Jamaica, and after that, I'm going to taste of the finest coffee in the world, and you want coffee. And I take to the plantation, and it's a hike to the plantation. You can see it's surrounded top with an excellent view of the whole surrounding the Craighton, okay? And then when we head down back, take you through the house and show you the original furniture. But first and foremost, this house is over 200 years old. It was built by a Scottish Italian by the name of Lord Craighton, way back in the year 1765. So it's over approximately 260 years old. Okay? It was also occupied by the sugar estate based in England, Craighton Live. It was ruled by Sir Robert Kirkwood. That way back in the 18th to the 19th century. It was from the sugar estate that an American bought it in 1979. Unfortunately, it was moved back to the United States. So the Japanese saw the opportunity and they bought it in 1981. What the American and the Japanese, they specialize in to promote their coffee. Okay? Because you see, especially the Japanese, what they have done, they have dispatched their experts to various countries coffee through Brazil, Colombia, Uganda, Ethiopia, Costa Rica, just to taste those coffee. Okay? And what they did, they give those coffee a percentage rating of 95 percentage point. When they couple the bone and taste this coffee, it's rich in aroma, has a feeling base, nice flavor, body, texture, taste, uniformity, it is there. So they give it a rating of 98 percentage point. So they classified it as the #1 coffee in the world. I don't know if you see it that way, but you can give me a feedback. Okay? when you taste this coffee, okay?
Okay.
Yeah. But I must tell you that coffee is not indigenous to Jamaica. It was brought in from Africa. To be specific, Ethiopia, and a little bit they call kaffa. And it moved from kaffa to Java, Indonesia, Amsterdam, France, Martinique, Guadeloupe, and Haiti. And it was from Martinique that coffee finally made it to the promised land, Jamaica. see, 6 plants was taken out of Martinique by a French colonel named Martin Gabriel Duclos way back in the year 1728. And it arrived in Jamaica. He gave it to Sir Nicholas Laws, who was the Consul General of Jamaica then. And those plants were taken to the Temple Olive Place, just to the west of Ireland over there. In those days, we only have 2 main species of coffee, the Arabica typica and the Robusta. You see, the Arabica typica is a more sensitive plant, and what it does, it needs a distinct environment in order to produce it best. For example, soil must be not too hot, not too dry, not too wet, not too cold, balanced.
Yeah.
And the Blue Mountain is the perfect condition for these plants. Meanwhile, the Robusta, it doesn't do well here, like South American plains. Okay? And you know, we only have 2 plants on the island of Jamaica, and they are on this plantation. When I get there, I show them, okay? You see the difference, okay? You know, the Blue Mountain coffee, it is grown in a specific area, a specific region, on a specific altitude, okay? Our ice peak in Jamaica is actually 7,402 feet above sea level. That's 2,256 meters, okay? On the other side of the mountain, over there, okay? The ice point on this plantation is 3,001 foot above sea level. That's 896 meters. Okay, here where we are is 2,600 feet above sea level. Okay, that's 800 meters. So you see, the Blue Mountain coffee, it has to grow in an area over 2,000 feet in order to be classified as #1 coffee in the world. Okay, anything that grows below 2,000 feet, it is classified Jamaican Prime Wash or the High Mountain coffee. It's a different taste coffee, I must tell you. But you know, from those 6 plants that was brought into the island in the year 1728, by the year 1738, they promulgated 18 million plants. They were planted in seed route. By the year 1833, our first export was 33 million pounds of coffee, and all was exported to England then. Now, basically, we produce far less coffee. 6 to 7 million pounds of coffee, of which 70% of this amount goes to Japan, 20% to the rest of the world, 10% remain back in the country for local consumption. But why we're producing so little coffee in these day and time, you see the older folks, most of them are gone, and the younger one want to enter into a different profession, like lawyers, teachers, doctors. They want to be footballers, cricketers, athletes. And that's why, you see, when you're in a country and your product is supply is less than the demand, prices will escalate. Okay? We know on the international market, especially the Blue Mountain coffee, it is pretty expensive. I can tell you. But here it's affordable. Okay? So you see, that's why you see, we don't sell on the local market also with our coffee, okay? Because we ensure that our visitors get 100% pure Blue Mountain coffee, okay? Because sometimes you go to the supermarket and you see a mixed blend coffee, okay? It's a mixture of High Mountain coffee or and a small percentage of Blue Mountain coffee. But because of the strength of the Blue Mountain coffee, okay, sometimes they label it as 100% pure Blue Mountain coffee, but it's a mixed blend. Okay. Yeah, but this coffee, what they have found out, it has in 4 elements: bitterness, sweetness, acidity, sourness. In case of sourness, we don't produce our coffee now, because take for instance, we take our beans from the tree today, tomorrow, like tomorrow evening, we immediately transport it to the factory to be processed. Okay, we don't keep it for more than 2 days. If we keep it for 4 or 5 days, what we'll end up with? Fermented coffee or sour coffee. Okay, so we don't keep it for so long. Okay, in case of sweetness, the Blue Mountain coffee, it is the only coffee in the world that has a natural sugar. You see, the soil has a lot to do with it. What we have to the coffee, nature has a lot to do with our coffee also. Okay, that's why it's sweet. When I take you to the plantation, I'll put some bean in it, and you can suck it. You will definitely see the sweetness in it. Okay, the taste of bitterness. If I give a cup of coffee, I would just advise you just to take 3 sips. 1 sip, rest, another sip, rest, another sip, rest. Just to ensure that that bitterness doesn't linger in the mouth. Within 2 to 3 seconds, completely disappear. It's not the tongue that tastes the coffee, it's the palate. Okay? In case of acidity, if you have high blood pressure, a heart problem, any type of ailment, what this coffee does is soothe the heart. It doesn't affect your high blood pressure. It has the properties that fight against Alzheimer, cancer, diabetes, Parkinson's disease, gallstone, liver disease. So if you drink this coffee, you won't feel jittery or any provocation of the heart. It's a coffee that don't react negatively to the cardiac or the nervous system. Why? It has in no more than 20 to 25 milligrams of caffeine. So the caffeine level in this coffee is pretty low, especially the medium roast. So that's what we specialize in, the medium roast. We have an art of roasting. We will demonstrate to you 3 types of roasting, and we do specialize it only in one. This is our roasting art. Okay, this is the dark roast. Okay, they say the Italian love this type of coffee. Okay, it has in more bitter oils. Okay, the caffeine level in this coffee is 150 to 180 milligrams. Okay, so if you try to take 1.5 cup of this coffee, what will eventually happen? You'll have a terrible headache, you may palpitate the heart, and you may be shivering. Okay? Whereas this one, which is a medium roast, okay, you can consume 4 or 5 cups of coffee without any problem at all. I'm here. Sometimes I consume 4 or 5 cups of coffee. When I go home, I usually fall asleep. Some coffee will keep you wide awake from this morning to tomorrow morning. Is that true? When you drink this, take it next time. Have you ever had next time? In your life, with a lot of those coffees. Yeah. So this is the world, okay? And this is consists of this is 72 country where this coffee is grown, okay? Okay, but this on top is the number 1, the Arabica species, okay? This is the tea berry. Okay, this normally coffee beans like this, beans, you have normally you have 2 beans in the pad. Okay, but this one only one come in the pad. It's called Blue Mountain tea berry. Okay, it's a very strong coffee also. It must have a different taste. Okay, yeah. This is the prime wash, it has a different taste. This is all coffee from India, Ethiopia, coffee from Brazil, Colombia, Uganda, Hawaii, coffee. All over the globe, okay? This now is these are the defects you can arrive at from going the coffee, okay? When you're at the beginning of your crop, you can encounter with some of these, like partially sour or partially sour beans, okay? You can end up with crystallized beans, okay? You can end up with immature beans, not enough water, too much sunlight. But the most dangerous one is this one here, insect damage, okay? Because what we have found out, we have an insect on the plantation in coffee, this little insect multiplies 20% strong, but they are very, very destructive. They are more active in the summer. And what they do, they penetrate the bottom of the beans, and they go to the beans and they lay their eggs. Sometimes when you open the beans, you look inside, you see 70 to 100 larvae. If you don't control those immediately, as you discover, you don't watch what they enter your crop. Okay? But in order to control them, what we do here, we get some 500 milliliter plastic bottle. Take out both sides, put water in the bottle, and a thing called ethanol in the middle. It's alcohol. What the alcohol does is it draws the insect to it. It's like an attraction after that. They draw the insect to it and they go into the bottle and they drown. Very, very effective. Because what we are trying to do, especially on this plantation, we're trying to eliminate the use of dangerous chemicals. Which is not good for human health. We're trying to protect our environment also. And we are under the Rainforest Alliance certification method. Okay? You see, this method is a method, you see, an international company that controls it. Okay? They instruct you what to use in case of testing these liquids, and you have to stick to that recommendation. Because at the end of the year, when they're coming to do their auditing, you may get a failing grade. You don't want that. It's also a method that's, take for instance, you buy 6 kilos of coffee from this plantation. Okay? Roasted coffee. Okay? They're packing the bags. You see, if you go to the airport, okay, they can't arrest you. Why? Because of that. Rainforest certification method stamp is on the back of the package. Once you present that to them, you have to go freely. Okay? Blue Mountain coffee. This is the map of Jamaica. Okay? And the Blue Mountain coffee is grown in this region. Okay? It spans only 3 parishes. Okay? And the other 11, there's 14 parishes in Jamaica. The other 11 parishes, coffee can be grown in the air. So it is classified as Jamaican Prime Wash or the Iron Mountain coffee. Okay? These are the 3 regions, the area where the Blue Mountain coffee is grown. St. Andrew, that's where we are here. St. Andrew. This is Portland in the east over there. And this is St. Thomas in the east over there. But let me tell you this, interesting enough, if you mix the Blue Mountain coffee with this coffee, because of the strength of this coffee, it can change the taste. Okay, this taste. But you gotta be an expert in order to differentiate that taste. Okay? Yeah. So these are the steps that we take when we are doing our coffee. Okay. Because when it goes the ladies take it off, they treat you red. It has to be like this. Okay. When they take it to the factory, within 2 days, what they do, they use a machine to separate the shell from the beads. Okay. And this is wet parchment. And there's a gel-like substance on it, which is called mucilage. Okay. They have to wash it thoroughly to take it off. And when they wash it, they place it back in the bag. Okay. And they transfer it from one factory to another factory to be dried. You can see the drying process in the Blue Mountain will take approximately 4 weeks because of the humidity. In Kingston, it will take 1.5 weeks. Okay? Okay. And when it is dried, it becomes crisp like this. This is the drying process. This is the drying process. This is the drying process. And when the moisture content is being extracted from it, okay, they put it through another machine, okay, because the raw beans is inside the shell, okay. So you have to, they put it through a machine with a fan. The fan will separate the shell from the beans, and this is classified as green bean, okay. This is how they ship it to Japan and to the rest of the world, okay. Because why we ship it in this manner, you see, those are international countries, and they attract a lot of visitors, you know, from different countries. Okay, so one may come into their coffee shop and may say they want a light roast brewed coffee. They may want a dark roast brewed coffee, or a medium roast brewed coffee, and you have to supply with them with that because they are paying their money. You have to give them what they want. Okay. But what we do, we get some from a batch and we roast it and we package it only for our visitors. We don't sell in the local market. So interesting enough, if you want Craighton Estate, Blue Mountain Coffee, you have to come here to get it, or you have to go to Japan. This is our light roast coffee. Okay.
Yeah.
And our method of brewing our coffee here is through a percolator. Not a French press, not a V60, not a pour overs. Okay, the percolator system. Because take for instance, we're gonna make 6 cups. There are 6 cups of coffee. We put 5 level tablespoonful of blue mountain coffee in the filter. But there's a filter in the percolator pot. Okay, and you pour in the 6 cups of water. Okay, and then you close it down, put it in the electricity, switch it off. It take about 12 to 15 minutes to be brewed. Even then, you get a nice warm cup of blue mountain coffee ready to be consumed. Okay, whereas the French press is a different method. Because you see, with the French press, with that pot, you have to preheat that pot or sterilize it. Okay? Then what you do, you pour in your coffee. So when you have that coffee, you pour it in. Okay? Then you boil that water separately. Because to take out, for instance, you're gonna do 30 grams of coffee. That will take 540 milliliters of water. Okay? And then after you boil that water separately, you slowly pour it in. And leave it there for approximately 5 minutes. Okay? And after that 5 minutes, you slowly press it down. Okay, and leave it for another 5 minutes. Okay, but I've tasted that coffee, and what I've discovered, that coffee is a light-bodied coffee. Okay, the aroma is not there. Okay, the flavor is not there. The rich flavor is not there. Okay, the body, texture, taste, uniformity, it is not there in that coffee compared to the percolator system, where you get a balanced coffee. Okay, which I'm gonna give you a taste of sooner or later. Okay. Yeah, because so I rather the percolator system. Okay, because that system is perfect to me. Not to say you can't make your French press coffee. Because you see people make their coffee to their soup. But I rather the percolator. So this, as you look at this here, this is the grading system. Okay, they use it on the copper board, which is called Jamaica Agriculture Community Regulator Authority. Okay, that's the entity that the coffee must go through. Okay, because you see, it has to go through that entity because they inspect the coffee. Okay, that's residue, insect damage, coffee. Yeah, I'm Chief Justice, so it has to go to the system, and the government has to get its portion. Okay? But no matter if it's A, B, or C, it's the Blue Mountain. It's the same taste. Okay? Okay, so I just gonna instruct you I'm gonna give you a taste of this coffee. Now, then we get after that we transition. Okay? But I recommend that just taste it black first before you put any additive to it. Okay? People like to put a little milk to their coffee, but I just wanted to taste it black first. Okay?
Will I call it?
Pardon?
Will I call it?
Black
Sorry, can I try the beans?
Yes, you can try it.
Dai men, ja vi dai.
Si prova qualcosa. Vamo beans. Vado.
Fine.
Il neutralizzerò questo.
Yeah.
Noša puno jača.
Kako ne?
Uopće nije
Slaba.
jaka. Slaba je baš.
Slabo.
Ozbiljno?
Da. Hoćeš probati?
I ne
Ne,
raspada
dobro.
toliko. Drži se.
Baš je.
Ona se ide dosta prilika ovdje probavanju.
Pa, dobro. Ja bi pišla tišla. Ne. Još ne Pa pija. Filip, kak je kova nakon mjesec dana?
Prva liga. Fali mi je u životu. Kaj? Ne delam, bez brige sam.
To si doma s žalica s gumama.
Godišnje pa trebam alkohola.
Odite muški, ajde.
Pa od jutra idemo u break.
Čak se deli i ove ploče čovječe. To je teški uspod. Čekajte, tek smo krenuli. Da, neka debela Amerikana koja dere McDonald'sa. Could be. Da. Samo baš pod noge, ti si ne mogla si uspješiti. U plantaži.
To je još malo
Samo da recimo tu ne išlo. Ono ne hoda. Ne znam kaj propušta života.
You might want to go ahead because I have issues with my knees, so
Well,
I'm
do
slowing
not
down.
worry.
I'm slowing
It's
down.
alright.
Take your time.
Opet tako su se žalili.
Gore.
Sad znaš ko je pisao. Thank you. We had some. We are on holiday.
O, vidite desno, pogled.
Baš dobar pogled. Don't worry, just take your time. Ovo cvijeće mi se jako dopada, ima i crveni.
Zora, kaj pogled.
You can take a break.
Shit.
Evo gledaj kak piše,
Ah.
gore.
Dobro, bote vi slikali, ne trebam ja slikati.
Gore.
Gore, idemo na gore.
Ajde gore. Stavim Hrvat. Gore.
Nikdo ga nabere sada to kao.
To je kava.
Da.
Everybody surprised. Nikdo ne bi.
A gled puno.
Sve mala još, no? Vidite kaj piše na pločama?
Gore.
Gore.
No?
Idemo gore.
Gore.
A dok idemo dole, onda upisa od dole.
Nešto bo to na brzaku i štimal, ha?
No. Zaokrene samo.
Če zapravo raste kaj vočka, čoveče.
No. Ali nije to su mladi, ja mislim.
A zdaj to vemo, samo lakše.
So officially, our
Morning.
plantation begins from here and it goes straight over top and across. It is a 40-acre plot, 20 hectares, consists of 34,840 plants at a ratio of 871 per acre. You see, when harvest begins in October and end in March, all of this coffee, they are handpicked by ladies. So the ladies take the red beans from the tree, put it in their sack. When the sack gets heavy, they pour it out in a bag, and the men take the bag to the truck, and the truck take it one factory, and they move from one factory to another factory to be processed. Okay, and all of this coffee that you're looking at here, they are the Arabica species. Okay, the more productive plant. The only two Robusta on the island of Jamaica, those two over there.
Ah. Oh.
Those are Robusta type of coffee.
Robusta
You
is
see the
bigger
beans,
or
the beans on the tree are much smaller than that of the Arabica beans. Okay, and then
But this plant is bigger or it's older?
it's older.
Older.
It's older. But if you see, it was just already being cut back. It started spring from the side up. You know, so actually, it's a 3.5-year-old plant right now.
Yeah.
Nikad nismo googlali.
No, baš mi je ko lovorov list, kaj nećemo veći.
Nazdravlje.
So why we have to do things here manually? You see, we couldn't put heavy duty machine on this terrain. It would be too dangerous. South American country, the crop ready within 3 months. They use a tractor to shake the tree to gather in their crop. We definitely have to do things here manually. Okay, so we're manually intensive. Okay, and how we grow our coffee here, what we do, we clean the land very clean. First, we line it out 5 feet apart, like 10 feet across. Okay, then we dig a hole 18 inches wide, 18 inches deep, put in 5 pounds of chicken manure, 4 pounds of fertilizer, mount it up very high, put a stake in. When the rain falls, we get our plants from the nursery down the bottom there. When they reach about 2.5 months, it's about 9 inches, we place it in the hole, and we nurtured it like a baby. Interesting enough, from cleaning the land to lining out to digging up hole to planting to developing stage to flooring to harvest, it takes approximately 3.5 years before the first fruit appear on the tree.
Wow. I was going to ask how long it takes, but 3.5.
Yeah, 3.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
But interesting enough, from
Triple.
it started to grow within the 3.5 years. It lasts for 20 to 25 years.
Okej, dobro, traje onda.
Da, da, da.
To moraš čekati.
Svaku godinu gledamo.
Metric. I think you two also understand metric.
Ne,
Metric? Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So not in...
Not imperial. Numbers.
Numbers.
Feet, centimeters.
it's easier for us. We are European.
We go a little further.
I'm going to stay here.
Znači pretvaraju boce.
Yeah.
Prva dobra roba je nakon 15 godina.
I would like to, but no.
A druga kada je top
I'm not going to
20.
push it so I can walk the rest of the week.
Ovi imaju neki, postoji neki dobri.
I'll meet you downstairs.
Lijepo to.
To je San Marino.
Ne,
Dok smo bili u San Marino.
ne, dok smo, to sam ja s Jurom išla. Smo išli baš imaju postoji neki godina stvari, aj to. Prvi dobar je to nema ne zove oči.
Hello.
To ti tako gusto strašno. Dva deci, imam doma 110 € gleda. Domaćice. Nikako ima. Svako ima maćice. A hvala što smo dobučili. Je, ja sam se kako je zapušila. Evo što smo mi zapušili. Hvala mi za petrole. Ja doma to si iz recenzije da je težak. Baš je težak. Meni jedno kada je težak. Da gledam, cijelo vreme se sjećam. Ovo je krivo.
I gore si.
Sve posvuče.
This is good.
Ne bom
Ali koji pogled.
No? Ideš, ovo drvo mi je baš lepo. Je, to baš i čekam. Buj, kako su... To su propalo, onda, ili?
Drž samo. Idem selfie baciti.
Mašite! Evo čudno video kak ja dahćem jer mi je vruće.
Je bilo dole. Znam da ovim sit, ne?
This view is amazing.
Kako je ljubičasto ovo?
Ali
Od nekog biljke.
vidik samo bolje na bolje.
Kako je cool. Pa kad je pogled to. Moraš Filip.
Da.
Evo te poslikam kako se slikaš. Evo ti.
Čekaj.
Kaj panoramu delaš?
Snimku.
Viš. Slikaj kako se slikaš. To. Možda moram s panoramom slikati nas na način da... Joj, to bi mogla negdje napraviti. Već dugo nisam. Je, svi smo na sliki, a Jan su odvojeno slika.
Čekaj da još s dronom malo odletim tu gore negdje. Evo čekam priliku, Isuse, pa se bo tu se vidilo.
Ovo čoveče. Baš je prekrasno. I gore grada, da. No. Lepo je vrijeme, sunčano pa je dobar slikanje.
Ali klima je tu super.
Za tako je to da. Nigde je padalo.
Ne, nije mi baš vruće. Tamo gdje smo stajali, gdje je prvo mjesto gdje smo stajali, tam je fest vruće bilo. Tu je prva liga baš.
Da.
Kao da smo već ušli u šumu.
To se je ručno beru.
Crvena vodka moraš uzeti.
Stvarno. Isuse, kako se beru. Zamisli se. Grdi posao.
Ne, samo slušaj.
Na dud me podsjeti. Kaj, to samo čučemo onda posla.
We'll bring one down for her.
Okay, yeah.
Kako je slatko.
And this is just suck on it.
Yeah, you can suck on it.
Fora. Kaj je?
Mhm.
Kaj je nekaj bombon?
Mhm.
Tastes like coffee?
No.
Oh, it doesn't taste like coffee? Oh, well,
Like,
then I'll
More
try
like
it.
candy.
I thought it tasted like, coffee. I'll
Like
try it.
candy.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'll try it.
Kaj, ste pljunuli još?
Još slukam.
Do you like it?
Mm-hmm.
It's really like candy. Kakve su fora. To su ogromni listovi. Pokrijem se. Veći list od mene. Idemo gore. Čekaj. Gore. Znaš kaj grde dok sunce zapaši. To je fora tu pogled.
of these coffee because of the devastation of the hurricane last year. October, the trees have been battered. Okay, so you see the leaves are all gone. So when the leaves are all gone, you have no beans. That's why they look like this.
Can they recover?
Pardon?
Can they recover?
Yes, it can recover. If you take off these beans, you put a little nutrient to it, or a little nitrogen fertilizer, they will come back.
Okay. Vidim se da je tu isto neka. Jel ne, to su sjekli? Ovo?
Evo gledaj, evo si dobro. No, to ima po vrtnim centrima čudo. Da je ukras neko krive. Znači, to se ti dolazi. Moramo Koprivnicu zeti Koprive. Da.
Actually, what we do when your coffee in a good condition, you see, what we do, they have to have shades because they're exposed to too much sunlight or too much rain, it can pose a problem. And that's why we plant a lot of banana trees throughout the farm. It's a fast-growing shade tree. Also the guango. Yeah, the guango here, the best shade tree we ever have. So the seed at the top on the inga. But what the guango does in the winter, it sheds its leaf. In the spring, it takes on back its leaf. It also provides water for the plant through mulching. Okay, there's a fruit that only the lower type of animal can eat. Very good tree to have in a plantation. And as you look around as these coffee, they are actually on one level. Okay, if you see, these trees last up to 20 to 25 years. Okay, when they reach that stage, what we do, we take it from the root, and when it's back, cut back, it springs from the sides up. Within 3.5 years, they start to produce again. And we also top it at the top at about 5 feet 9 inches at about 175 centimeter. Okay, because see, the ladies are not so tall. So, because if you allow it to grow, it can grow up to 20 feet and stop.
Yeah.
They won't be able to reach that. Okay, okay, yeah.
Velika biljka. No, baš je lepo. Vidiš grad dole cijelo.
Ja se osjetim da je nakon pol ure tek šus me rukom kao. No, onda sam stvarno osjetio. Ja sam na finišu poslušao. Ali treba mi trajati. kao video gdje ono zleti čez oblak, dole dođe na sajam i ono nastavlja dalje snimati. Ono, ali vidiš da jest AI, ali nije toliko ono pretjerano, ali efekta je ono predobro, nema napraviti tak neko. I baš ono snimka ispadne baš živo. kaže. Mislim, normalno, ne?